Breaking. Trump gets consequential news in Georgia trial. The criminal lawsuit that accused Donald Trump of illegally storing sensitive documents after leaving office was dropped by a court in Florida on Monday. This decision handed the Republican former president yet another significant legal triumph as he strives to return to the White House. The decision that Special Counsel Jack Smith, who is conducting the prosecution, was improperly appointed to his job and did not have the jurisdiction to initiate the case was made by U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon, who was nominated to the bench by President Trump. It has been stated by the Department of Justice that it will appeal the verdict. The judge concluded that United States Attorney General Merrick Garland, who appointed Special Counsel Smith in 2022 to oversee investigations into Trump, did not have the jurisdiction to appoint a federal officer with the kind of prosecutorial power wielded by Special Counsel Smith. President Trump achieved yet another court victory of monumental proportions. As of the 1st of July, the Supreme Court of the United States issued a ruling that granted President Trump full protection from criminal prosecution for official conduct he took while in office. The decision was made in a different lawsuit against Trump, which Smith also pursued, and it involved Trump's efforts to overturn his loss in the 2020 election to the Democratic Party. The decision was made by Cannon 2 days after an attempt was made to kill Donald Trump while he was attending a campaign rally in western Pennsylvania's western region. As of this week, he will be competing against Democratic President Joe Biden in the election that will take place on November 5 in the United States. The decision made by Cannon deviates from the uniform conclusion of all previous courts that have reviewed the subject. According to a representative for Smith, it has been established time and again by the courts that the Attorney General possesses the ability to designate special counsels to administer certain investigations. Vice President Joe Biden of the United States stated that he was not surprised by the rejection of the case. It comes from the immunity decision the Supreme Court ruled on, according to Vice President Biden. The basis upon which the case was thrown out I find specious. In a tweet on social media, President Trump expressed his belief that the ruling should be considered just the first step and demanded that all 4 criminal cases that have been brought against him be dismissed. There were allegations that Trump paid hush money to a porn star to avoid a sexual scandal before the 2016 election. In May, Trump was found guilty of these crimes in the state of New York. In addition to the election-related accusations that were brought before the state court in Georgia, Trump had entered a plea of not guilty in the Papers case and Smith's other case during the trial. Trump was indicted in the documents case on claims that he knowingly held secret national security materials at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida after leaving office in 2021 and hindered government efforts to retrieve the data. The information was allegedly kept at the estate after Trump left office. The records, according to the prosecution, pertain to subjects concerning the United States military and intelligence, including specifics regarding the nuclear program of the United States. Additional charges of hindering the inquiry were brought against Walt Nauta, a personal assistant to President Trump, and Carlos de Oliveira, the property manager of Mar-a-Lago. During their appeal before the United States Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit, which is located in Atlanta, the prosecution will attempt to bring the case back to life. Even though Trump appointed half of the judges on the 11th Circuit Court, the court has not been shy about expressing disagreement with Cannon's decisions in the past. The decision that Cannon had made to appoint an independent special master to review the records that the FBI had taken from Trump's Florida estate was overturned by the court in 2022. The court stated that Cannon did not have the power to make such a judgment. Chuck Schumer, the Democratic leader of the United States Senate, issued a statement in which he said, "This breathtakingly misguided ruling flies in the face of long-accepted practice and repetitive judicial precedents. It is a violation of the law, and an appeal must be filed as soon as possible." A further piece of information demonstrates that Judge Cannon is unable to handle this issue in an unbiased manner and should be transferred. Cannon's decision, at the very least, casts doubt on the further events that will occur in the case. The legal team representing Trump has not presented a challenge of a comparable nature to the special counsel in the election-related case involving Smith. Garland's decision in 2022 to select Smith to lead investigations into Trump was disputed by Trump's legal team, who questioned the legal validity of the recommendation. They contended that the appointment violated the Constitution of the United States of America because Congress did not establish Smith's office and the Senate did not affirm the appointment of the special counsel. In response to Trump's assertions, Attorneys working for Smith's office argued that the use of special counsels to conduct politically sensitive investigations is a well-established practice that has been around for quite some time. Out of the several decisions that Cannon has issued in favor of Trump and expressing suspicion about the behavior of prosecutors, this particular finding is the most significant and impactful of them all. In the past, the judge had postponed a trial indefinitely, while taking into consideration a flurry of legal challenges brought against Trump. During a court session that was centered on Trump's challenge to Smith's appointment, she made an extraordinary decision by allowing 3 outside attorneys, including 2 who supported Trump, to present their arguments from the outside. Trump's challenge to the special counsel received a boost from the conservative justice on the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas. Thomas presented an opinion that was in agreement with the judgment of the court to provide Trump with extensive protection. In this opinion, Thomas questioned whether Smith's appointment was legitimate, using reasons that were comparable to those that were presented by Trump's attorneys. To provide investigations into Trump with a degree of independence from the Justice Department during the administration of Vice President Joe Biden, Garland chose Smith, a prosecutor who specializes in public corruption and international war crimes. Trump's legal team contended that consent from Congress was required. The legal authority of Attorney General Merrick Garland's decision in 2022 to designate Smith to conduct investigations into Trump was contested by the legal team representing Donald Trump. They contended that the appointment violated the Constitution of the United States of America because his office was not established by Congress, and he was not confirmed by the Senate. The attorneys working for Smith's office refuted Trump's assertions, stating that there was a well-established tradition of employing special counsel to supervise investigations that were politically sensitive situations. Cannon has made several decisions in the past that have favored Trump's defense and shown doubt about the behavior of prosecutors. This ruling is the most recent and consequential of these decisions. In a similar instance, the court postponed a trial indefinitely while taking into consideration a flurry of legal objections brought by Trump. During a court session that was centered on Trump's challenge to Smith's appointment, she made an extraordinary decision by allowing 3 outside attorneys, including 2 who supported Trump, to present their arguments from the outside. President Trump's challenge to the special counsel received more support from Clarence Thomas, a conservative justice on the Supreme Court. Thomas, in an opinion that concurred with the judgment of the court to provide Trump extensive immunity in the election case, questioned whether Smith's appointment was valid by utilizing reasons that were comparable to those that were presented by Trump's legal team. Garland recruited Smith, a prosecutor who specializes in public corruption and international war crimes, to provide investigations into Trump with a degree of independence from the Justice Department during the term of President Joe Biden. 2 other individuals have been charged with hindering the inquiry. These individuals are Trump personal aide Walt Nauta and Mar-a-Lago property manager Carlos de Oliveira. Republicans were incensed by the search of Trump's home in the summer of 2022, and 3 days later, a Trump fan was killed by gunfire after attempting to infiltrate an FBI office in Cincinnati. Additionally, searches were conducted by other prominent politicians throughout the case. Biden and Mike Pence, who had previously served as vice president, each returned documents that were found on properties that they owned or managed as a consequence of the situation. As a result, there were no unlawful alterations that occurred. Please share your insights in the comments section and become a subscriber to receive supplementary content. I am grateful for your consideration.